Alright folks, welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather and I am now going to be doing my round 3 predictions for the 2021 AFL season. First up, Thursday the 1st of April, we've got Collingwood versus the Lions at the Marvel Stadium, a stadium that I've said I've really enjoyed watching the live footy games on. I suppose it's just a TV for me, but for anybody that's been there, they've also passed comments saying the atmosphere has been fantastic at the ground. I think everybody's fired up for it as well, because particularly with Victoria, how little games were played there. Obviously 2020 season, we all know how that went. So maybe the atmosphere's that extra decibel higher than usual because of that. I don't know, but fans are certainly enjoying themselves being back at the ground. There's no doubt about that. And this game, actually, I do think it will be quite a tight game, to be honest with you. I mean, Collingwood did get the win. They did beat Carlton last week. Very, very good game indeed, winning 106-85. And the Lions, of course, coming off the back of 2 defeats. But they've been very, very unlucky, the Lions. Obviously, they lost by a point to the Cats, and they shouldn't have lost. They should have probably won that fixture last week. So they could be slightly aggrieved at that, and I think they'll want to bounce back. So for my prediction, obviously, I've said Lions have lost the last 2. Collingwood lost their first opening game, obviously against the Bulldogs, and then won last week against Carlton. It's too early to say a team's form's been fantastic or whatever. I think it really is just a case of teams settling down into the first few rounds and hopefully getting a few wins under their belt. And I think Lions, they're going to be determined to bounce back and get their first victory of the 2021 campaign. So I'm going with a Lions win to start this week's footy off, and I'm going with a margin of 11 points. I did mention it's going to be tight. It'll probably be tight throughout every quarter, but the Lions will see it over the line with an 11-point gap. You heard it here first. So Friday then, we've actually got 2 games on Friday, bizarrely. Usually it's only the solitary game, but this time we've got 2. 2nd of April then, North Melbourne against the Bulldogs. North Melbourne have been in absolutely shocking form, haven't they? Apologies for that, my phone rang and interrupted my flow there. I think we're talking about North Melbourne anyway, going into this one here on the 2nd of April against the Bulldogs. I was about to say North haven't had great form, lost 2 games, and arguably one of the lesser teams right now in terms of the way they're playing and the competition. Hopefully for North fans that will change, and change very, very soon indeed. Bulldogs going into this with 2 back-to-back wins, 2-0. This one again at the Marvel. The Bulldogs had it rocking last week against the Eagles with a fantastic win there. One of the best games I've seen in many's a time. And I don't know if it'll be beaten for a while, but as a neutral or as a supporter, you would love to see games like this happening more frequently. But I'm going to say Bulldogs win here. Not going to mess about. We all know North's not playing well, and we know Bulldogs are on a little bit of a run so far, and they're looking strong. So Bulldogs win. And I did mention 2 games on Friday. We've got the Crows at the Adelaide Oval versus the Swans. And the Crows had a great win in round 1 last week. They actually scored quite well last week against the Swans, putting 80 on the score sheet, but actually lost 121 to 80. And Tex Walker kicked 6. So they're by no means not playing good stuff. It was just a poor result on the day, but they're free scoring right now, the Crows, and they're playing the Suns. The Suns are off the back of a very impressive win against North, who I've just mentioned, obviously losing the 2 games. The Suns ran out 98-39 victors there against North. All that being said, I think the Crows will have home advantage, and it will be an advantage. I'm going to go with Adelaide Crows win. There's not much between these 2 teams, I don't think, this year. I probably would have said before any footy had been played that Crows will be probably below the Suns from what I had seen last year. But do you know what? It is very early. It's very early to say, but they're actually doing okay. A little bit better than I had first thought anyway. So I'm going with a Crows win at the Adelaide Oval. Home win, Crows. First game on Saturday then, we've got the Tigers versus the Swans at the MCG. Swans have been in remarkable form, considering how they've played in the last couple of years. it's really exciting times for Swans right now, because Buddy's back, Papley's playing well, Blakey's a great little player, they've got McDonald there playing well, and others that have came through that are doing very, very, very well, like Golden, etc. Golden, etc. Sorry for the interruption. Again, 2 interruptions in one video. This is destined not to happen. Could you please back with take 3 for this video, this predictions video. Take 3 of round 3. Tigers versus Swans. Anyway, I've been saying how well the Swans have been playing, and likewise the Tigers. Dusty is in scintillating form. I'm really impressed with Dusty's form right now, and the fact that he's mentioned that he's actually starting to enjoy footy again, considering everything he's done over the last couple of years, is very worrying times for any opposition coming up against this man. Dusty is not rusty. Dusty is on fire. So then, it's a prediction. I think the Tigers will win, just purely because they're seasoned at this. They have got the 2 wins under the belt. The momentum is gathering slightly, as is the Swans. But I think the Swans, well, do you know what? This is a test of their season. If they can beat the Tigers, then there's nothing stopping them taking great confidence from that and building on that and doing something exciting in 2021. However, my prediction is the Tigers to win at the MCG. Essendon since then at the Marvel. Essendon going in this with a depleted squad, a very injured squad after last week. They were slightly unfortunate with that, but their form out with the injuries hasn't been good. They're not playing very well, are they? 2 losses. St Kilda lost last week against Melbourne. It was a tight enough game. I was very impressed with the Demons in that one, and of course Saints got round 1 off with a win. So 1 win and a loss for Saints and 2 losses for Essendon, and because of that I'm just going to go with Essendon's not playing great. St Kilda are a good side. St Kilda win. The biggest game of the weekend, arguably, then, is next up. The last game on Saturday, Eagles versus Port. This one at the Optus. I'd imagine the Optus Stadium is going to be rocking with this one. The Eagles being at home, their fans back them anyway. Obviously, Port are an unbelievable form. Probably one of the favourites in the competition right now, as far as the AFL media would suggest. My personal pick to go ahead and win this year, but as I said, because of that, I think the Optus is going to be rocking. There's really this game could go either way, but I think Port, if they really want to make a statement and show their intent this year, this is a win they simply have to make. I mean, there's a lot of footy to play. I'd imagine whoever loses this, it won't really affect their season too much. But in terms of building from it, like the Tigers I've just mentioned against the Swans, putting 3 wins up at this stage is pivotal. It's very, very good to get off to a flyer. I mean, Port did it last year. They won near enough every single round all the way through. Between the break as well, obviously we had the break last year from round 1 into round 2, and then there was no fans, etc. It was a bit stop-starty, but Port managed to win near enough every round last year. They were incredible, and not much has changed this year. I'm going to go with a Port win, purely because I think they're playing the better stuff right now. But this being in the Optus, it's going to be a very difficult game indeed. I don't think there's going to be much between the teams. I think it will be quite a high scoring game. Like the Bulldogs Eagles last week, I think it will be a very open and attacking game. Both teams quite strong defensively as well as offensively. So it's got the makings of a classic like last week, the Eagles Bulldogs game. But I think Port's going to be too strong for the Eagles, and they're going to get the win. So Sunday the 4th of April then, Carlton versus the Dockers. Carlton were disappointed last week again, obviously being beat in the round 1 and then beat off their fiercest rivals. Collingwood's never great to lose a derby fixture like that, is it? But this is the game that I think they'll feel that they can win, going against the Dockers at the Marvel. Dockers are going to have to travel. Dockers are off the back of a win last week. They didn't do too badly actually. The Freo, they beat the Giants, played decent enough stuff. But I think Carlton actually possess a better team than the Dockers. But Dockers are one of those teams that they can beat quite a lot of teams on their day and then go on a run of losses. They're just a strange team altogether. But I think Carlton will bounce back from the Collingwood defeat and get the win. So the next game, Giants versus Demons. Giants have been poor. I'm not going. Somebody actually messaged me and says they're rubbish. They are not that good a team this year so far. They really need to buck up their ideas if they want to salvage anything, because if they go into this game and get beat, that's 3 defeats in a row for the Giants, and it could hammer their confidence, but it could also be quite a mountain to climb if some of the teams around them keep playing the way they are. It could be difficult for the Giants to get themselves back in and around it. I did say there's a lot of footy still to be played, but you really wouldn't want to start the first 3 rounds off with 3 straight losses, would you? So Demons, 2 wins, complete polar opposite of the Giants so far. I think if you were saying last year against these two who would win, you would probably have said the Giants on your predictions, but this year I think quite a lot of people will be back in the Demons purely because of form. Quite interestingly, this one's actually going to be playing in Canberra at the Manuka Oval, if that's how you pronounce it. But I'm going with a Demons win. I think they're playing very well. They'll be full of confidence. The Giants look bruised and battered and deflated, and I think they are going to be licking their wounds again. Honestly do. Like, Demons to win. So next game up, final game of the weekend of round 3, Cats versus Hawks at the MCG. There's no love lost between these two teams. History will tell you that. Some huge games over the years between them. Some fascinating encounters indeed. Cats going into this one, winning last week there, and Hawks lost, but Hawks won round 1, and Geelong, differently from them, they lost round 1. So form, lost 1, won 1, both going in with 1 win apiece. There really isn't going to be a lot between these two teams, to tell you the truth, because the Hawks haven't been any pushovers this year. They're actually playing okay stuff. They were probably beat convincingly enough in the end by Richmond, but they had moments in the game they actually showed promise, and Cats were very lucky to get the win against the Lions. They probably shouldn't have got the win, like I mentioned. No, they shouldn't have got the win, but it was a tight game outside of that contentious decision by the umpires. It was quite a tight game between the Cats and the Lions, and that's how they've managed to win it at the end of the day. But it is a prediction, and it's going to be a Cats win. I think they still are a strong team. I don't think they're going to play fantastically well this year, 2021. They will be in and around it. There will be. I don't want my predictions to change too much. From what I've seen from the Cats, I've actually been slightly underwhelmed. It's making me reassess where I think they'll finish. I still think they'll make finals footy. I don't think Hawks will make final footy, but I do believe this game will be close enough. But I'm going to go with a Cats win at the MCG. So quickly running through my predictions again. Lions, Bulldogs, Crows, Tigers, St Kilda, Port, Carlton, Demons and the Cats. Let me know what you think, what your predictions are, etc. Have you got the same as me? What players do you think is going to shine in round 3? I'm really looking forward to it. Round 2 was absolutely brilliant, and hopefully round 3 can be much more of the same. And as I've said, I would say the biggest game of the weekend, certainly on paper, considering how great a game it was between the Eagles and the Bulldogs, and how fantastically well Port are playing. And it being at the Optus, it's a fantastic venue to play footy. Great atmosphere. The West Coast Eagles fans will be backing them to the hilt. Not too sure what sort of crowds are allowed in Western Australia right now, and no Victoria stadiums are up to 75%, so not far away from capacity, but still not quite there. I'm not too sure what Western Australia's government have said is okay for their stadiums out there. So anyway, look, that's the game that I'm picking to be the game of the weekend. But loads of good, intriguing games. Obviously, Cats, Hawks, you can't take that one for granted. A lot of rivalry there. Of course, I'm going to be looking out for the Bulldogs. It should be an easy enough game against North. Collingwood Lions, quite a good one. that is probably it in terms of games that are really... Tigers Swans, based on the way Swans are playing, I think if you had said last year Tigers Swans, Tigers winning, it would have been probably quite convincing. But the fact that Swans are going in with great confidence and playing lovely stuff as well, twice getting over a century on the scorecard, is going to make that one quite exciting. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and fire the notifications bell on, and check out all of our social media platforms in the description section below. Thanks very much, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.